What's going on, guys? It's Michael from GPURisers.com, and today we are back in the bunker and we are going to be moving a couple things around here. We do have our RX 6600 XT rig. It's mining along. It's been doing great. Not one invalid share, not anything like that. Each card's getting a solid 32 mega hash and pulling about 72 watts per card. But today I decided to do a little bit of housekeeping. We have been building the 3090 rig. We built that. We do have some other cards to throw on there. However, I do want to eventually move these racks to make room for a little studio area over there. So to do that, I need to build our 2 additional racks. I do want to put one here and have our little studio area here. However, I need to move these racks further down that way. So I did decide I am going to be moving this rack probably to about this point right here on the wall. It is going to be kind of close to the sink. I am a little worried about that. However, I actually had them come twice and double check that everything's been sealed on this. And I really don't even use this sink. So I'm hopeful that nothing comes from that. It will be far enough away, and these are up off the ground in the event there is a small leak. However, what I think I might do is just put some paper towels under there, things like that, and just check it, every day and make sure that nothing's damp. That said, if I do move it to about here, I will gain about, I want to say 3/4 the length of this, which means our final third rack would end about where this one starts, which then will give us all this room for a nice little studio area. We do have our lights there that will go up there. I do have the lights off in here. It is just the studio lighting for now. So those will be out of here. I have random stuff all over here, tons of boxes. These are all going to be going on one of these racks. So I have 4 total. Like I said, there will be 3 here, 1 per 30 amp 240 volt outlet, but I need to clean up all this kind of stuff. I do want to have 1 rack dedicated to boxes, and I like to look at the boxes. However, it's not necessary. There will be boxes behind boxes. I just do want to keep all of these GPU boxes, power supply boxes, motherboard boxes, all in one general area. And so that is what that will be from there to there. And then I can keep the extra frames, I can keep the spare parts, I can keep all these little random Ethernet cords, PDU cords, power supply cords, extension cords, all of that can go on the bottom shelf of that rack. Because these actually do have, I believe, 4 shelf storage racks. Here you can see that we are only utilizing 3, so I will have a little bit more shelf space on the one going over there. And kind of depending how big the table is and everything like that, I might actually put a shelf behind me, just with some of my favorite little gadgets and stuff like that. I want to have some fun projects with old PCs, restored PCs, things of that nature, which I'd like to keep all of that kind of in the background. Shows a little bit of my personality and the channel's personality on what we really like doing and where our passions lie. Then I'll have the table here, and we will be putting our little test bench over there on the table here, which then we can control, which we could show you guys stuff in real time while we're doing testing. But I do think it is time to clean this stuff up. We can get this rack out of here. We can put all these parts again on the rack over there. We are, it is going kind of high up. I can't even reach majority of these boxes. Right about there, I can probably reach that top 6600 XT there. But with the racks, we will be able to get some more depth, and of course go a little bit higher. Instead of stacking them all the way from the ground, we will be able to have shelves that we can balance it a little bit better on. So we're going to make way for that. In here we have just miscellaneous stuff. Some old risers, we have some outlets, we have a couple returns. So here's some risers right here. If we're ever doing packing or spot testing and anything looks a little weird, a little capacitor might be bent or something, we do pull them off right away. And there you can see some other fans that we were doing testing with before we came out with our fans. So a little fun fact with the rigs that we do make, a majority of the risers are actually returns. Because obviously we're not going to be selling you guys risers that were returned, so we take them and use them in our farm. Or if some of them have like little small defects in them, but they still work just fine, we do utilize those as well. Sometimes, a 1X chip will have a defect, so we'll swap it with another, 1X chip, but again, we use those in our farm, and we do not resell, returned risers or risers that have issues or anything like that. But we do like to test out all the risers that are returned to us, or that have issues, so that we can, better figure out quality control as we go. But enough of that. I am going to go ahead take this one out. I probably will put it right in front of there and then load it all up and then push it back to the wall. I do not want to move all of these things off of there. And at the same time, I think I will be moving this shelf down a little bit, and then I'll take out the final one and set it up right there. Probably get the other, there it is, the other PDU that we have, get that mounted to this rack so that we have everything ready. We are not nearly utilizing either of these PDUs. Actually, this one we might be using, yeah, we have 3,600 watts running on this. That's for the 3090 build and also our 6600 XT build. So I knew this one would be using an absolute ton. This one will be switched over to this one. I want each rack to be on its own PDU. So I kind of want to get everything set up and ready, even though we're not utilizing it yet, just to have it all filled in. And also I really do want to get this, studio area going. I mean, I know it doesn't look that great on video, but this actually will be, a fairly good size area. But all of that said, let me go ahead and start cleaning some of this up. Let me get these racks out of here, get some more floor space, and we will be right back. All right, we are back. I did move this rack over. I was gonna move it over about another 2 feet, but it just got a little too close to the sink, but I think it's fine right here. So in between the last clip and now, it has been a couple hours. It did take me a little bit longer than anticipated. I got that is actually the helium miner that's going. There's the antenna for it, which does need to be moved. But we got the second rack here, and we have our third rack right here and our third PDU all hooked up and ready to go. Now this area is cleaned up a little bit. We do have our cards that we still need to get on rigs. So this rack, you can see some boxes on the bottom, miscellaneous random boxes, Ethernet cables, PDU to PSU cables, of course the graphics card boxes, the motherboards, the CPUs, RAMs, and we did get 2 more 1600 watt EVGAs in. Those were B stock. We do have another 1800 watt power supply right there that we're gonna be doing some testing on. But enough of that, we got this whole area cleaned up right here. No more boxes on the ground that were filled with the shelving. We did get the shelf over there that's all built with all of our boxes on there. So I didn't anticipate actually to fill this whole thing up. I really didn't know how many I had, but it is pretty tight in there. I am just gonna be going up and up and up with them. We have all of our power supply boxes there, but I'm really happy with how that turned out. We have of course the frames, and all this is going to be eventually moved. That rack will be out of here, and right here, kind of where this angle is where our studio will be. And I can actually, this is the first time where I can really see it all coming together. You see the shadows over there, that's because the studio lighting's all on there, and I don't want our little strobe light going. But it will likely be angled somewhat like this. You won't see shadows. You'll have our boxes on the side there. You'll see a big table right here. I'll be behind it. Hopefully maybe some guest appearances will also be here. And on the left, I will add something there as well. And I don't really know what to do for the wall up there. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. But yeah, I am super excited with how this is coming out right now. Having the third PDU here does really change the look of all of it. So that is what we did today. That took quite some time. But I am glad it is all up and going. I did have to connect the 3090 rig over to the first PDU that now has the test bench with the 3090 on it and our RTX 3060 Ti LHR build. So the only thing coming off of this PDU right here on the second rack is our 6600 XT build. And we do have our network switch that does not consume a whole lot of watts, but you are able to see how many watts the 6600 XT build is now consuming. And you can see right there, we are at 0.99 kilowatts. So let's see, if we have 990 watts and we take off, let's say 65 for the system, and let's take off about 40 for the fans. That's 885, divide that by 12, and we are sitting at 73.75, which we know these cards are pulling about 72 watts. That is close enough for me, for efficiency wise. So I'm going to just let this simmer and let it mine. It is on Ethereum, but the PDU that has all of these on there right now, that one is pulling a total of, let's see here. You see the amps right there, but we are pulling 4,220 watts. Now we know 8 of these are each pulling 120 to 130. We know this whole rig right here is pulling 344 watts, and we know the 3090 rig is pulling about 300 watts per card. So here, it's better with the screen on, 4,222 watts. We can have a total of, let's come back over here. We have 30 amps times 240 volts. That will equal 7,200 watts. We'll apply the 80% limit, 5760 watts that we're able to pull. That means that if we minus out, what do we have again? Let's see, we have 4,240 watts, 4,240 watts. We have 1,520 watts to still play around with on this PDU. But of course, this test bench will not be here forever, so we have 340 watts there. So let's add 340 watts of available space, 1,860 watts. I feel confident that we'll be able to add another one of these 3060 Ti LHRs or possibly a 3070 Ti build right here. We'll see kind of where we are left, and I might be able to add, 2 or 3 3090s on a rig here, but we will see. This 8-card 3090 rig definitely pulls an absolute ton amount of wattage. We will watch all of that. Of course, these are two 20 amp breakers on a single 30 amp PDU. So for two 20 amp breakers, you never want to go above, of course, the 80%. So 16 amps is going to be where our max is per bank, and a total of 24 amps max on the overall PDU, which is, we will reach that as we get closer and closer to that 5650 or 5660 watts or 70 watts, somewhere around there, 5700 watts, around that. So we will be watching that, but we do have, again, 1,860 watts available on this once we get our test bench all the way over to our studio area over here. Again, I'm still looking for a table. If you guys have any recommendations, I'm just trying to find them local, cheap. I'm really not trying to spend a whole lot of money on it. But again, guys, that's gonna be everything for this video. We are continuing to expand it out here. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate every view. We appreciate every like and every subscribe. And that said, I hope everyone watching this has a great rest of their day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.